If you're planning a trip to the Amalfi Coast this summer, these are a couple of things I wish someone had told me before we went, part two. And if you haven't watched part one yet, make sure to go check that out. Moving into travel credit cards, Capital One has no foreign transaction fees. So we personally use the Saver card for food and going out because you get 3% back, and then the Quicksilver card for everything else. If you need to get cash out, we also use the Capital One 360 debit card, which also has no fees. However, it does need to be used where the card network is accepted, which is at most major Italian banks. I would avoid standalone tourist area ATMs. And then I just have a few cultural tips. A lot of people do speak English on the Amalfi Coast. However, learning just a few basic Italian phrases goes such a long way with the locals. Italy does have somewhat of a coffee etiquette. Most Italians drink their espresso standing at the bar, and it's actually cheaper to do it that way. If you do choose to sit down at a table, you'll likely be charged coperto, which is basically just a small cover charge. It's usually only €1 to €3 per person, and it's basically covering table service. It's very normal for Italy. One other thing about coffee before we move on, Italians typically don't drink cappuccino after noon. It's considered a breakfast drink because it's milk heavy. Although there is no rule or law against this, you will immediately stand out as a tourist. Meal times are also different in Italy. This was actually a big adjustment for me. So lunch is considered their biggest meal, which is from 1 to 3 p.m., and then dinner doesn't start until 8 p.m. or sometimes even later. Some touristy spots may open around 6 p.m., especially if they offer aperitivo. If you want to avoid crowds, I guess this would be a good time to go. However, don't expect to see any Italians there. And then my last and favorite tip is to embrace aperitivo. It's more of a pre-dinner ritual in Italy than what we consider a happy hour. Most people will order an Aperol Spritz, and it's usually served with some small snacks. It's delightful. If you have any questions about the Amalfi Coast, drop them in the comments. Bye!